Alrighty, I'd like to show, again, hopefully a simple little trick that's going to help people align things on 60 degrees and how to get things back to 60 that are not at 60. So we're going to focus here on this section line and construction center line call out here, the multi-leader. And it probably appears that it's at 60 degrees, and it's not. So I go through periodically and check these things, random checks throughout sheets, just to make sure that things are at 60. And sometimes things are very, very, very close to where you actually legitimately could not tell. But sometimes things are actually off enough that you could tell with your eye. Once it gets to 1 or 2 degrees off, I can actually tell the difference. This one in particular, I would not know unless I have actually visually checked it. So I'm going to draw a line at 60 degrees. And if you go zoom in real close here, you can tell that is not at 60 degrees. So somebody dragged this not using polar tracking, and it got off. So the main point here is that there is no reason to not use polar tracking when doing annotation, because it's super, super easy to keep these things on 60 degrees. So when it's originally set, let's back up to square one. So if I go to my annotate tab and I insert a multi-leader, let's just use a new style. You insert a multi-leader. I'm going to snap it to this center line, and I'm just going to place stop and space, type something random. So that was automatically, I'll do it again, this was automatically locked to 60 degree increments. So I can place it at 60, I can place it at 120, and also the 90, the horizontal ones are snapped as well. But so 60 degrees in any diagonal direction, and then also the horizontals. That's the only place that you can snap these multi-leaders when you originally generate them. You can't even snap them to 30s. So it's just 60s and the horizontals. So this multi-leader that I just placed is at 60 degrees. If I wanted to move it, let's just say I didn't want it to actually be there, but I wanted to bring it down here. If I don't have polar tracking on, then there's no way to ensure that this stays exactly at 60 degrees. But the nice thing about polar tracking is that it is extremely easy to turn on or off. You just use the F10 key, or you can just click this little icon down here that I'm highlighting in the whatever this bar is called, the bottom menu bar here. So with polar tracking, there are a few different options. So north 60 degrees and 0 minutes, 0 seconds east. This one will go to 30 degree increments. So every single 30 degrees, it'll put a polar tracking line. So if I were to draw a line out in space here, at horizontal, it'll lock me. Oops, I have to turn my polar tracking on. I had it off. So if I draw a line, it'll lock me at horizontal. It'll lock me at 30 degrees, lock me at 60 degrees, lock at 90, and so on. Every single 30 degrees, it's gonna have a locking point where it's very easy to just stay along that line. Anytime you see those green dots extending beyond where my cursor is, that means I'm locked in at a 30 degree increment. So if I want to drag this down at a 30 degree increment along the line that it is, then all you do is just kind of hover a little bit close to where that yellow line is, and it's going to snap you right on a 30. So if I drag this down here, let's just say I want to set it right there, and now I draw a check line that's at 60 degrees, you can see it's exact. It's super, super simple. If you are not using this, you need to be, because if you're not, and especially if you're doing a lot of drafting, then all of your leaders that aren't placed perfectly originally, they're going to be off. And then chances are this section line and construction center line call out, you're copying between sheets and every single one of them is now off because you're not doing a very simple thing in pressing F10 or clicking this icon to turn your polar tracking on. So it's very, very easy to keep things at 60. It takes no effort on your part to do it this way versus to just eyeball. So you might as well just keep it at 60.